Hello. How are people? Just getting everything started up here. So we left off with we had figured out part of the system, right? And we had is anyone? There's one person on, huh? All right. Let's get started. So we're going to look back. Now I had deliberately left off these palatals. And we're going to do those today. Now, let me make sure that I have the right ones marked. In fact, I probably should do a little text label beside every one of these in order to remember what they actually are. So we can make sure that that all gets sort of sorted out. So if I go back to my own stuff here, I've got A. And this one is okay here. That's very strange. Oh, this is this one will be uh. Ah. And E. Okay. And looking through here, remembering what these all came from. So we've got N. No. This one is N. N. We've got T. And then this is Ra. Ra. We've got right. N. Yeah. N. And S. Yeah, that's one that we need to be dealing with right now. Okay. Ah, there we go. D. And the one is F. B. V. H. And M. Better mute that. Should be P here. And then K. Okay, so we know what all of these letters represent. And now we need our letters for, let's make a new page. We're going to need sh, ch, j, and nya. So let's work on that. Let's see what we can do with that. I intentionally had left my wow, literally no one. Okay. Okay. Am I on the wrong day or something? Okay. I had intentionally sort of not done these before because I wanted to do some kind of trick where I would combine this one. So take that, take the whole thing, take this and combine it with the letters that these would correspond with. So let's actually arrange this in a way that's more similar so we can work through here. So this arises from palatalized consonants. And we've got, so let's sort out where we are with those. So we need the n. Yeah, take this. We need the t. We need the d. And we need s. Now that's an interesting one to have. And so we want to make some kind of a ligature for each one of these with this y sound. And already I see an interesting possibility for this. Let's start with this. We've got that sh. We can just scoot this in and we end up with that. So that's possible. Now, it does not fit into our square, so that's one thing. But it's a possibility. Another thing we could try is let's actually make sure And we have a copy. We have another copy of that. I don't want to just consume it all the time. Well, can I get the entire center line? Another possibility is let's get our S glyph back here. Let's see. Another possibility for sh would be copy this. We could. No, I'm not really seeing a different way to do it. I suppose there could be a possibility of doing something like this and have that, which currently would not interfere with anything, but it's a little bit interesting. Let's look at others. So this, the valley one, let's put those over here. Some things off the thing. Looking at this, we could have, so appending it to the end would not be ideal, because we would end up with, yeah, it would be a little bit weird. We could make it cross over. Make an X shape there. Don't really like that. Now, incorporating this is a little bit, if we took, so like we have our M triangle, take this and stick this close, then we end up with something, and then extend this line out. Or we can, let's see, if we group these, and we align, what does it do? Okay. That's not gonna work, because that can be confused with a sequence of T and M. As literally just a sequence of T and M. So that is not really on the table. I'm starting to think that maybe we don't need to do anything with this. But if that's the case, because it's just a bit awkward to try to do anything at all. We could try like crossing over, right? That's interesting. Thinking about what that would mean for the rest of them. Another option we could have is take this E and combine it with the vowel. That would be a completely different thing to do. Hi, Logan. Just getting started here. I was a little bit late, and I think that it seems like not a lot of people are here. So I'm working on different options for making some kind of a ligature in order with this ya in order to represent these. And now that I'm looking at it, it seems like this type of writing system does not lend itself to that kind of combination of characters. It's like the characters are too simple. It's too easy to get them like mixed up into each other. But we can try. This one, we've got a couple ways we can do. We could have, okay, for this, we can have the crossing, or we can go here and actually have them be just touching. And it makes an extra long character, but it works out. And then we could have the same thing happen here. My pages are not big enough. Oh, bad hand day? Well, save your hands, Tabby. You don't need to type. So we have this. And then we can work up the two different possibilities for that too. There we go. That looks a little bit chaotic. We have this. There's not going to be any ambiguity here, but it is going to look really strange. It's it would have been easier if we had the S and the Y flipped. In fact, it doesn't necessarily matter so much which of these shapes represents a fish, which of these shapes represents a river, right? You could have a convention either way. So I wonder what we can do if we, we'll move these to the side. What if instead we move these parts just straight retcon my characters in order to get more favorable shapes, as you do when you're conlang. You can do what you want. Why am I not getting it lined up right? What did that move? That's weird. Okay. So now, if this is the, well, give me the whole thing. then this makes us a little, gives us a little bit better gives us a little bit more to work with, I think. Like, we can still, this would still be an option, right? Go with that. Or we could go with, like, take this, and copy that out, and take one of these, and do like a double. Do like a double line there, right? So that's some options there. If we go with, now these two we have to think of together, because here, like, if I did this maneuver with this, it would become confusable with this, right? So we would have ch and n confusable with each other, which is not terrible, but it's not ideal. But we could instead, we could grab more of this, and we can, let's ungroup. Oh, interesting. So I can't really, I have to, we can grab the lower half of that R, of that yeah character, and make a crossing. Whoa, wow, I made a W. We could do the same thing here. And that's an extra special W. Or for this one, we could go over and we could have just a third line. Right? I kind of like that better for the nya. I need to make sure that the distance is standardized, but it would work. And then for this j, we have similar options. We can go here, and we can, I'm just going to grab it from here because it's already a unit. We can have crossing lines here. That's very busy looking. Or we can just have an extra line there. So, and they don't all have to follow the same pattern. They can have some kind of an irregularity to them. right? Like, I would say, since this one cannot follow the same pattern as these, then I could say, like, all of these add the extra line from the while this one has the W figure for ch, right? That would make a lot of sense to me as like this being the exception and these being the rule. That's an option. Now, I suppose having done all of that, I realize that I can do this the other way. So if the y is like this, then these ligatures make a lot of sense for the direction of writing. If the y was instead this character, right? We could be super weird with it and like these do these things in reverse, right? This one literally would just be flipped. This one would not, well, this one would also just be flipped because we would mean that this is the sh, right? So we flip this one. These would not have the same outcome. This we would have here. We would end up with something like this. Right? And this, we could end up with something like this. And like a key thing about this, well, I mean, it would literally just be this one. Okay, why are you loading now? Close this. Get that out of my face. Yeah, it would be this one flipped. So, okay, so if we sort this out, we've got two potential sets of forms. So here's the main difference here in these sets of forms. We've got, in this one, we have one that's irregular, right? This one doesn't make sense, doesn't follow the same pattern as the other ones. In this one, everything's regular, but there's a slight weirdness in that the y element comes before the main body of the glyph that derives from the coronal, the corresponding coronal, right? these I'm going to eliminate as options. I'm iffy on whether I should keep this as an option. This would be like a third oddball thing to deal with. We would have another crossing glyph just like we have R. So we'd have the X glyph, and then we'd have an X incorporated into this funny looking W-ish thing. This is more consistent, but it's, you know, it ends up with sort of a different kind of historical implication. I'm going to need to right. So I'm thinking this might be something I reserve for a patron vote, or depends on whether you guys have a strong preference. I can work that up as a patron vote. But we have that. The other issue that needs to be addressed is the other issues that we need to have addressed are, how do we handle the initial nasal clusters? So nasal stop clusters. You have those nasal stop clusters that can have an R, have this character after them, which is even more weird, right? You can have now one thing we can, and the other is the final, like, fricative and stop cluster. And we also just need to figure out how the vowels and consonants interact. Because, like, as it stands now, yes, the vowels are on the opposite side from the consonants, but I haven't figured out how that fits together. Why don't we, I'm going to leave this here, and I'm going to, like, work this up more properly and make a patron vote. And let's also look at fitting vowels and consonants together, because I think that once I have that idea in mind, then we can work out more about, like, what things look like. So there's two basic ideas. Let's just grab some examples to work with. Just thinking of it, let's say we have, let's say we have the word ga. Ga. Dragon, right? G and an A together. Now, do we want to, let's zoom in. Do we want to just have them straight together? Do we want to have them staggered? So you have one, and then let's go like halfway. If we can line up like the center line of this. right? Two different possibilities for how we would write ga. And there would be kerning here to make them like to the point that the characters almost overlap, right? Um, the other, if we go and we take a longer word, let's just do one that's going to be CVCV. Let's go with Kaga. Kaga language, right? Ka. So we're going to have the ka and ga next to each other. And if let me obsidian Kaga. Kaga. So this was underlyingly a schwa, which means that this is going to be actually, we're going to use historical spelling. And we're going to have, so this, there's an ah here. We've got an ah here. And a schwa, not a schwa, but the corresponding one here. And then these are the two different ways of writing. If I can possibly center these. Probably I would end up moving this one a little further up though. You know, we'd have some variable kerning to make things look nice in a font. Right, something like that. The thing about this situation is, like, we're being very precise about putting things in like the center because I have a computer and I can do that. But that's not like necessarily realistic for this system. We could say, oh, they try to connect we could say, you know, we go here and we'll say they try to connect characters together like this. But I don't think that's necessarily going to like make sense, because what happens when you have a 4 next to a 3, something like this? They're uneven, and it's going to mess with my spacing. I'm liking better this way of writing. And if we go here and we rotate this 90 degrees, oh, just do that. Oh, no. Rotate it. Right? That's the horizontal and the vertical versions of Kaga. I don't know. It seems to work out nice. So this is going back on what I had originally intended, right? Is my original intention was to have something like this happen. But it kind of doesn't like look as appealing as I had thought. The fact that we have all consonants on one side and all vowels on the other side is still an interesting thing to have. This would mean that I'm not necessarily as concerned with consonant clusters as I was before, because these are this is functioning much more like an alphabet, right? I'm not trying to do fake syllable glyphs anymore. That said, maybe I want to do fake syllable glyphs. So we can consider all of these things. So that's my thoughts on the writing direction, on methods of writing. Is we can have option A or option B. Another now let's grab a strong let's grab a strong word. A shorter strong word. Ame. Ame. Apim. That's a good one. That would be. Another thing we can consider here is this one was etymologically an ah, so we have an ah. We have the P over here. P. Oh. I forgot the crossbar there. P. And E. E. And But this is not Apim, right? This is... Oh, hi Jake, how you doing? So we've been going over some stuff. I was thinking my original intention for Ndakaga was to write things like this, right? With the like letters being syllable blocks, but I'm thinking actually to make them sequential anyway, and just let this funny like back and forth movement be interesting. But anyway, we're working on this part. What I want to do is now is how do we distinguish hard and soft? Remember, that's our categories for our vowel harmony system. Is we have hard vowels and soft vowels. The hard vowels, it's mostly just an ATR harmony thing, except that because of a sound change, some of the pairings are strange. Yeah, I think I like it. I think I'm gonna go with it. But I intentionally gave these 5 vowels instead of the full 8. So we have to distinguish this u, e, the u from the e from I, right? We have to have some way to distinguish this from, just using the romanization here. My stuff is off the screen. Distinguish these. Distinguish E from I. Distinguish A from I. And distinguish O from the harmonic A. This is the neutral A. This is the harmonic A, right? By the way, I was discussing something. Okay. Yeah. I do not watch ContraPoints anymore. I'm more into Philosophy Tube, who has also mentioned that. Wild that she's in a Star Wars TV show now. Okay. So here's what I was thinking. Is that instead of, since this is a vowel harmony system and a root has to be harmonious, what we can do, this is apim, right? But it's apim, but the way it's written now would be read as apim, because I don't have a hard sign. My hard sign, what is that gonna be, huh? Well, this could be, no origin or anything. Let's just do this. Copy this. Or no, I do need to actually draw it, because it'll be, we set a point here. How do I force it to be straight? There we go. And why is it doing that? It's very strange. So let me make sure that let me get my fill-in stroke. Do we have a zoom tool? Yeah, zoom. Okay, so this is a little bit wonky. I think I want it to be a little bit closer. What if we just have a strike through of all the vowels? I don't think I saw that one. So we strike through all of the vowels to indicate, and this means that you end up with a strike through the neutral ah. So, which will not be ambiguous at all, but like it may lead to some humanoid wizards having some wild theories about what exactly that is, right? It's not ambiguous because there is no opposition there. This ah is different from this ah in the writing system. So we could have that, or we could have a something that marks only the relevant vowel, right? So have something like this. Now this will be funny if we do it this way. I don't know why. It scales the whole thing, huh? And it doesn't tell me that it's going to scale it that way. Okay. Well, I can do this. Right. So just mark that vowel. That'll be funny though, because that means that we can have this character, which is p, right? Can I get the let's go get it from here. This p character, right? We can have that, but it might end up next to this one, which would be, what would that be? That would be I. It's, yeah. Do the vowels point in the same direction in Korean? They have, it's like, some lines there. So that's our two options, is that we'd have a line just through hard vowels individually, or we just have a whole line through all of the vowels to indicate that we have hard vowels. Can I get some bricks? You know, that would be a fun thing to do. Like try to write ndakaga on some bricks. Right. I am liking this. Yeah, to right on. Yin vowels point down and left, and yang vowels point up and right. Okay. They divide their vowels as yin and yang. Yeah, so that's what I've got here. One last thing is I think if we go with this alternating thing, we can deal with just consonant clusters just being a thing, right? You can this in this kind of system, it's not a big problem that two consonants are next to each other. Like if we have mbre, right? No, let's not do that one because I wanna do something like that. Like if we have, I don't have, the consonant clusters are kind of unusual. Yeah, mbre. Well, we'll work on this. Ndisha. Nsrig. Like, okay, so let's go with TESP, right? We would have TESP would be like this. We'd have the T, the E, fit this in here correctly. If it will let me actually fit these together. This is the annoying bit here. Is that Inkscape does not want me to actually like put things in the correct way. Why do you think I want the bounding box corner to the bounding box corner? That is not what I want. What I would like is a cusp node. Yeah, cusp node to line midpoint. That's good. So, anyway, as I was saying, we zoom out. We go TES. Get this in here. Why do you think I'm moving that? There. That's good. And then mu zoom, and get the P, and we don't end up with a lot of clusters like this. We could probably kern it so that it's very close together. And that would be TESP. TESP, which is... vowels look like they would be good to comb your hair. Yeah. I think that actually works fine. And we don't need to be fancy about all of the clusters. Now, for those who joined later, we did do a lot of work on trying to get the alveopalatals working, and I have two different options that I'll do for a patron poll. But this works out pretty well. The one other place where I really do want to work something out as like a different situation is the case where we have, let's view zoom to drawing. These notes are a mess. I understand that, but we will work out. The one thing that I really, really would like to work out would be to, let's add a page. Yeah, just add a page is here. Pages are like a new concept, newish concept in Inkscape, so I'm not always super clear on how they work. I want to see we get any of these stops can have a homorganic nasal before it, right? And well, just get all of the. So we have some options for representing that. We could just make it just another cluster, right? And that would be fine, but I think it would be more interesting if we had some way to, like, if we had it work like a diacritic. So, here we have all of the stops, right? And what exactly is that one? This is G. And if we can figure this out, then I can know how to write the most important word we need right now. So we have these. We have 3 nasals. And you got to think one of these could end up getting combined in with these others, right? M, and the N. Now, right away, I'm thinking the N is too complex. It's, it's the thing is, like, I'm already leaning toward the idea of like an extra line means a y sound. If I do that with an extra diagonal line means like a prenasal thing, then it's gonna get messy. So we have these two options here, n and m, right? If we can have either one be like the thing. So let's say we have these options, right? And we have t. Okay. Immediately I'm seeing where I have to go here. Because if I use the m, right? I take this triangle. I have to incorporate this triangle somehow, right? That's another one. That's a totally different rune when I do that. View zoom. Let's get the zoom tool so I can zoom in exactly where I want to. Right? Now, why does my, for some reason my view zoom out? View. Right. So let's, for some reason my hotkeys are not working. Anyway, you get the idea. This is either the s or the y, right? That's not ideal. We don't want to do that. And we could offset it, but it kind of defeats the purpose. Then it's just basically ligature. But this one is literally just a line. And if we take this, let's see, do we have any 4 lines? We do not have 4 lines in the consonants. So we take this. We can do this, add it to here. Right? No, that's too close. We can just have this prefixed on here. Let's bring the other ones over and this, put it here. That's 3 lines instead of 2, but it's not ambiguous. Put it here. Put it here. Put it here. We have 4 lines. And then this one, put it here. What? Put it here. And I can fine tune this a little bit and put things in different places. But what that would be my g, right? Yeah, so it can be a little hard to deal with this. So I'm thinking like this can be all the homorganic nasals because there's no need to make a distinction. And since that's a very common occurrence in this language, it's just going to end up being like that. Which means that to do ndakaga, we have, let's actually get the line itself. ndakaga will be spelled with a ng, then the d, and turn this very close so that basically they become a ligature. Although, like, this is not a writing system where ligatures are make sense as a concept usually. Um, Pretty close. And it's a schwa. So this one. I want this closer. Let's zoom in here, get it right. I do need to learn how to make fonts in order to like make it easier on myself to do this. Why? Why are you grabbing that? There's no reason. There's just no reason. And I need to leave soon, so let's... And then and that's an etymological that's a transparent ka. But and then we need the ga. Kug. And yes, and the second is a historical schwa. It was kaga, and then became kaga. So it's this one. And there would be how you would spell ndakaga. Is Ogam written bottom to top? I was thinking top to bottom, and then all you have to do, you can also make it horizontal. The only way to I can easily just do this. Rotate. Control G. Rotate. And I have the horizontal version. Ndakaga. A long flying dragon with a horn. So this is the nda, but it's because this is understood to be homoorganic. Then we just use the because it's easy. It's shorter to write. It's literally just one. So I think that wraps up basically all of the design questions I have. Let me give you guys one thing to vote on, because I'm gonna have I will type that up and have patrons vote on. Let me zoom out more so we can see. Zoom out. One of these two options for the palatals, right? I'm going to have patrons vote on one of these two options. I don't want fill in this. This one or this one. Depending on which one we choose for S and which one we choose for Y, these are the outcomes. But either way, you could have this happen. So, do we want sh to be oddball irregular? And I'll just say it this way. From bottom to top and left to right, or left to right horizontally. That's interesting. I had not heard that, but I'm going top to bottom. It's just easier that way. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't do it that way. I honestly, I'm probably going to have some sort of a left to right for all of these scripts because of convenience. It's very difficult to get right to left scripts to work, or up and down scripts to work. But anyway, so should the sh glyph glyph. Oh, I need to actually make it a poll. Control X. Start a poll. Be the B looking thing, or should it come from the set the patrons decide? So, I'm just going to give a couple of minutes here. So, the thing is the question, patrons are going to decide whether they do this set or this set. If you decide that we do the bee looking thing, then this is going to be our character for sh. If not, then whichever one of these they decide, it's going to be either this or this. Autumn is almost a can't. You know, I can see that because it's not super distinguishable. It's all about like the number of strokes and stuff. But then again, what's going on here? I'm going to give you guys 1 minute because I really need to get out of here. But, all right. So, okay. Okay. I'm going to end it. So you guys decided that this one is not going to be it. It's going to be whichever one ends up getting chosen by patrons. And I will clean these up. I will make the patron poll and post that up. It's been a while since I had a patron poll. I really need to do those. So we'll have that. And we'll do some cleaning up. And I think I've got most of the decisions that I wanted to make about the writing system now. And maybe like written numerals is something that I need. So I might come back next week and do some written numerals to sort that stuff out. But otherwise, but otherwise, yeah, it's just transforming this into a font so I can use it. And we will be wrapped for Dukaga pretty soon. Sooner than I was thinking. So, I'll get that up. I've got to go. Happy conlaying. Thank you for watching.